for our 2026 NFL free agency bonanza. We were going to go frenzy, but let's avoid alliteration like everybody else. Why not? MP, good to see you. Charles, good to see you. What a crew. I love seeing familiar names. Still waiting on Jim, so hold tight here. I might actually have to give him a call. Hang on. So what are you guys looking forward to today? Let us know in the chat. We are less than 1 minute away from legal tampering. Love a little legal tampering as opposed to illegal tampering. One of the many absurd terms and phrases that we hear. Okay, great. Jim's going to just do it in the Substack app. Yeah, Substack, they improved their live streaming game, which is awesome. This is a lot better than what we used to do audio wise, video wise. But, we tend to be a little sluggish with the technology when we get our pal Jim in the fold. Charles says, every time I see you, I think of Alexander Volkanovsky. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Oliver Connolly joining the chat. We better be bringing the goods. So Tua, you can have him for 1.3 million. Any takers out there? Tua Tagovailoa. You don't have to pay him much. Per Ian Rappaport, Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski are very interested. Like we said with Russell Wilson once upon a time, there is a reason that the Denver Broncos aren't paying him or are paying him to leave, I should say. You pay somebody that much money to get the hell out. Probably a reason for that. Hey, there he is. Jim Monis, what's up? Good to see you, man.
I'm good, I think. Went from I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound
Right.
great.
That's the good old can you hear me?
Yeah, it's I don't know if your phone is vertical or horizontal. What do you have right now, Jim?
Vertical. So I guess
I think that's right. Yeah, because people are probably watching this on their phone. Let us know in the comments what looks best because we're all doing this for the first time.
all right.
Oh man, we got a great crew.
So what's going on? What did I miss? I'm coming out
So
of
why don't let's start with Tua because I mean the deals are going to start cracking here momentarily because you lived it, Jim, at the combine. Agents aren't talking to GMs. They're by law they're staying in separate parts of Indianapolis. One at the J Dub High Velocity, one at Prime. You can't be seen. No, that's where everything happens. Obviously, what does it look like out there? You lived it where now the deals can go down. It's going to be a rapid fire.
Oh, it's the best. I was so happy to go from scouting to the front office side of it with the Bills, being a scout with the Saints, going to the front office with the Bills. Then I could finally be in on these meetings. And now I knew what was going on. Finally could go to the breakfast with the agent illegally, getting the deal done, knowing before you and Schefter break it. But anyway, it was just, for me, it was just good learning experience to actually know and confirm that everything goes down at the combine. Everything's pretty much done. It's just easy. Everybody's right there. It's to the point, and we talked about this, the interviews and all the track events. It's almost become down the line of things that are priorities for NFL GMs.
Yeah, you're there to prepare and play that game of Tetris, whatever. You're piecing the puzzle together while you're trying to convince some players to take a pay cut. Maybe you're booting their ass out the door, which I always get a kick out of the social media departments for these teams, Jim, where there's so many just loving, elaborate thank you posts when they cut loose a player. I mean, everybody in this chat, imagine if you get fired. I've been fired. A lot of us have been. And then your company just sends you off with flowers and a big thank you post. I kind of think the players themselves hate those, right? Like I wouldn't want to see that or hear that. You just got rid of me. Get the hell out of here.
It is. It's a tricky time. It's the business becomes very, you don't know who to trust. Players don't know if they can trust you. You see a difference. Here's the best way I can explain it. when you draft a player and you're in the front office and you draft that player, you got to know that player before the draft and free agency as well. We go to dinner with the free agents, the free spend the monopoly money like we talk about, all the food, all the drinks. Then you get the signing or you make the draft pick and the player's on your team. And I always say, as soon as we sign a player or draft a player, we are looking for his replacement. And they know that. They feel it and they know it. Everything changes once they officially get on your team. And the business side becomes, hey, well, you were really nice to me during the draft process, free agency process. Now all of a sudden, you're not looking at me or talking to me the same. You're not treating me, because at the time you are recruiting or getting to know somebody, and we all know how it goes.
Yeah.
You're putting your best foot forward, and then once you get somebody, sometimes you got
I It's, and there was I mean, you see it all the time. I think, like, here in Buffalo, Tim Graham at The Athletic had the story talking to Connor McGovern, who, like, said he hadn't heard from Brandon Beane, hadn't heard from the Bills, and then, these guys have agencies, they're whole departments of people, so then you hear, oh, well, maybe there was somebody with that agency that did meet with the GM. But you know what it brought me back to was when you and Doug Whaley were running the show in Buffalo. I mean, this would have been fast forwarding a little bit to the preseason. I remember you guys were playing the Lions in Detroit, and I caught up with Marcel Darius in the locker room, and he's just bitching and complaining about how you guys weren't paying and weren't showing him the money, called himself, oh, they're treating me like a dime a dozen Darius. But it was shortly after those comments, lickety split, got a deal done. I don't know. Does that stuff, like when a player does speak out, can that accelerate the negotiating process at all?
no, it does
Oh,
nothing.
okay.
No, it doesn't do anything. We don't even hear the players. I mean, it is simple. It really is. I mean, what everything is set. I mean, you're just plotting people. Your slot of where you stack at your position, the money's pretty much slotted.
Yeah.
So as long as you're okay with that, and we'll get into this as we go here, but and it's really you got me started with Tua, and it leads to Malik Willis. Well, I do think you should pay him, but we can get into all that.
Well, they're going down right now. So Alec Pierce is staying in Indianapolis. I think there was, I don't know. I really thought he was good as gone. If it got to this point, and a deal was not reached that he was going to leave, right? Especially with, Daniel Jones on that transition tag, and they're trying to figure something out. It's a done deal. It's now remember the numbers. You can't get caught up in the numbers, right, Jim? Because your eyes are closed, you're shaking your head. The agents are putting these numbers out,
But
the guarantees and the devil's in the details. It will all come out soon. But
right,
that all being said, 4 years, 114 million will make him the highest paid free agent receiver in NFL history, per Ian Rappaport there. Uh, First thoughts,
you
Alec Pierce
my first
making
thought
bank.
my first thought was he must have gotten paid to not want to leave. I didn't realize it was that. So that makes a lot of sense to me because I don't think you can win in Indianapolis. Like I don't think they're going anywhere in the AFC. So he doesn't care about Super Bowls. He cares about that's how I think about it. He was more that's highest offer. Yeah, I'll take that. And stay right where you are. You're going to put up numbers in Indy. You're going to be you're a good team. You're relevant. You're not beating the big dogs in the AFC.
I thought New England. I guess we'll see what New England does. And sorry, my eyes are going to be. Don't.
No, you're
I
good.
don't mean to be rude, Jim. When you're,
No,
dropping all these
good.
takes, I just want to make sure we don't miss anything. Alec Pierce has not caught 50 passes in a season,
He's
and he's
he,
the highest paid free agent wide receiver ever.
that's what I'm saying. I felt like it must have been a heck of a deal for him to stay there. So that's more than yeah, when I think of him as a niche role system player, like down the field, big boy, make the play, which is a great talent to have. Highest paid receiver.
I mean, this is going to sound awful, but you know who he does remind me of is Jordy Nelson. I mean, that's the upside here. Not just
Well,
because they're a couple of fast Caucasians, but the plays he makes down the field. It does remind me a little bit of Jordy Nelson back in 2011 on that beat. And boy, talk about somebody who just did not handle his contracts well. I mean, Jordy, he was getting deals done with Green Bay way too soon. He didn't really allow himself to hit the market like Alec Pierce did and left several $1 million on the table. I remember he was asked about that one time in the locker room, and Jordy got really defensive about it. Like, no, I'm happy here. That's a lot of money. You
Right.
can tell it bothered him a little bit. That he missed out on some major big time money in the NFL. But anyways, that's the upside. You watch Alec Pierce highlights;
Oh, he's
they're fun as hell.
yeah, he's a big. I think he's a. I think I don't want to. I think he's an outstanding player. Everybody wants to have him on your team. I just when I think of top highest paid, I don't think of him, but certainly a weapon.
You have Zacchaeus. He is going back to the Atlanta Falcons, slot receiver. Made some plays for the Bears last year, so that Kevin Stefanski. I'd imagine that he'll be pretty active. I mean, all new coaches are going to try to put their imprint on things. And I mean, we touched on it earlier, but Tua. It sounds like the Falcons could be in play for Tua Tagovailoa. It's only going to cost you 1.3 million. The Miami Dolphins. Maybe bringing up Breaking Bad a lot because I'm in a rewatch of that, and like it's 100 times better than even the first time you watch it.
I don't know if I could go down. I don't know if I can go down that path again.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, it's yeah. You
Yeah,
gotta
I'm not.
15-minute bursts. Wife is getting the kids at school, sneaking in here and there. There's that scene where Walter White is like lighting his money on fire after those planes crashed above his house, and he's feeling guilty. Now, eventually, like he puts out the fire or throws the money into the pool and saves it. The Dolphins are doing that. They're just lighting money on fire, aren't they? They're just getting rid of playing Tua Tagovailoa 100 mil to just go away. In addition to several other players, they don't really have a choice, right? If you're John Eric Sullivan, I don't know if you know John Eric Sullivan, their GM from your scouting days. You do. That's a tough. You want to be a GM. You want to take over an NFL team. Tough situation financially to be in right now as a new GM.
It all started for me a couple years ago in Denver when they didn't care about getting rid of Russell Wilson. They ate that 60 million. It hit me that the owners are officially done. They want to win Super Bowls, whatever it takes, and they're not going to waste years or time or money anymore on guys they have deemed aren't good enough to win a Super Bowl at the quarterback position, and they're going to eat the money. They must be printing money or that confident in everything right now that's going on in the NFL because there was a time we talk about it and joke about it with GMs blowing money all the time. I swear that used to matter. I don't think it matters anymore. I really don't. I'm convinced that only one thing matters: get to the Super Bowl, or at least be relevant for the Super Bowl. And yeah, 90 mil to eat. And then for Atlanta, I, I mean, I don't get it for Atlanta. I mean, you have Penix. He's not better than Penix.
You need to sign
But,
somebody
but
though. Penix off of another knee injury.
well, we could talk. That's a whole other stuff. I don't
Yeah,
that because basically what I'm trying to say is Penix, Tua, you can shake them up, throw them up. Enough for me. That's how.
two lefties, two southpaws.
How many Southpaw Super Bowls?
Steve Young
I do.
again. Can't recommend his bio enough. His auto bio, great. You know what? There's the correlation is, Jim. Those NFLPA report cards came out, and the owners that are getting A's and A pluses are also the owners that just don't give a damn about burning through hundreds of millions of dollars. Like Stephen Ross, Arthur Blank. I mean, to their credit, like they're entrusting general managers and coaches and people underneath them, and they're saying, "Hey, do whatever it takes to win." I go back to that scene at the combine 2 years ago. A man that you know very well, you worked with him, Terry Fontenot. He was the GM for the Falcons, and he took a bag of Skittles. He set it down between us. He said, "If I told Arthur like this bag of Skittles is going to help us win football games," I forget the number he used, like millions of dollars. He'd say, "Get as many of those bags of Skittles as you need." There's a lot of owners that don't think that way. And I don't know what's right or wrong because, I mean, the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. The Falcons aren't exactly in a great place when it comes to winning and losing. So you still have to be smart this time of year, right? the salary cap is real, but it isn't real. At the end of the day, like whoever you're drafting, whoever you're signing, you they just better be a good football player because even maybe you don't care about all the dead money and wasting millions of dollars, but not ideal what Miami's going through with Tua Tagovailoa.
I look at a great example of what I saw how where the Buffalo Bills, I know we talk about the Bills a lot because that's kind of my history with the Bills and your history of covering them, but their wide receiver room right now, I have to give it out to Warren Sharp. I follow him on, on X. I don't want to say I didn't do this research, but the Bills receiver room, I think, is second in the NFL, uh, highest cost.
Yeah.
And that I look back on when we were with the Bills, I remember it was a big deal because we were going to pay Percy Harvin a 1 year, $6 million. And I'm like, got to be kidding me. I mean, Percy would be the best player on the Bills, and he wasn't elite Percy when we signed him. He was still good. He was a B plus, A minus Percy, um, with his age and whatever. But yeah, I can't get over the money right now. Like to your point, it started with Pierce, Alec, and then to think about what the Bills have spent. We keep talking about the Bills need to get receivers. I mean, they just did, but they have been trying to get receivers for years.
I don't think DJ Moore is in the same bucket as Marquez Valdez-Scantling and,
No,
Elijah Moore and
Moore's a
Amari
real
Cooper.
yeah,
Do
Moore.
you?
I
Yeah,
like
but yeah, what are your thoughts on DJ Moore?
I like DJ Moore. I like him. There's no if you're I keep saying this, you're the Baltimore Ravens, Eric DeCosta, if you're Brandon Beane with the Buffalo Bills, go ahead, dump picks, get players. It
You've
doesn't
been yeah.
I said this before. The next GM is the one that will have to figure that out with the lack
Yeah.
of won't have to be Bean, it won't have to be DeCosta. Get rid of them. Good luck. They know it. Once Lamar and once Josh Allen, you have 2 years. I keep saying it. Baltimore and Buffalo have 2 years to get to the Super Bowl. And you see it.
In Albert Breer at SI had some reporting on the Max Crosby pursuit. The Bills were seriously pursuing Max Crosby, just
Ugh.
where they were picking in the rounds. Vegas didn't like that. I can't remember what he wrote. It might have cost the Bills like an extra second to pull it off, but they were down to the wire on him. There was a lot of hand wringing over the compensation for DJ Moore. He essentially will make 24.5 million in each of the next 3 years. That fourth year, the Bills will have an option to keep him or not. You're giving Chicago a second. It's the 60th overall pick. And if you look through history at the wide receivers drafted in the 30s and the 60s, huge difference. Uh, really, I mean, you can find them at that point of the draft, no doubt. It's as much of a third round pick as a second. You get a fifth back. I don't think any of that really matters. It's if he's good, and it's a huge if. Don't get me wrong. None of that matters. Like you had to do something, and look with what Alec Pierce just got. Are you kidding me? That's a kind of looks like a bargain. As MP just said here in the chat, he's absolutely right. Or she. Sorry, MP. I'm not sure who MP is. Yeah, what's Romeo Dobbs gonna make? What's Rashid Shaheed gonna make? And I like DJ Moore a lot more than those two. AJ Brown, that's a whole other conversation. It sounds like Philadelphia's asking price is really, really high. And MP is a he. Okay, good. Just don't want to offend anybody here in the chat. Uh, I think that we'll see, right? I don't want to sit here and say it was a grand slam move, but I like it. I think it's different than what they've done at receiver, and I like the fact that they're not gun shy. The worst case scenario would be to kind of him and haw and not make that move, and then see Pierce get this deal, and then see what happens with AJ Brown and overpay on a receiver who would be another name in that bucket, of guys who have been through here and haven't worked out. Trent Sherfield. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. So I talked to one of DJ Moore's wide receiver coaches recently, and he really detailed what he brings. He thinks this is the best wide receiver this side of Jamar Chase with the ball in his hands. Somebody who still can win outside, who has 3 peak years left. He made a really good point, too. This coach said that Josh Allen is an unconventional quarterback. Well, DJ Moore is an unconventional receiver. He thinks they're going to fit really good together. I don't think they'll. I don't think they're done. I think the Bills are going to draft and or sign another receiver. You can't depend on Keon Coleman. They've said nice things about Keon Coleman. That doesn't really matter.
I was going to say for you and I moving forward, let's not talk about Keon Coleman. Let's not even bring his name until he actually plays in NFL again. I've never
New,
seen
new podcast
before.
rule. I agree.
Is that okay? Like we did that
Yes.
rule with, what was the rule for the,
Aaron Rodgers.
there was a Rodgers rule, but no, there was a guy that had a nickname. Oh, the Denver Broncos backup quarterback. Uh,
Oh, Stiddy.
we said no more Keon Coleman, no more Stiddy until they do like they have to do something. This is enough. All right, but anyway, yes,
Yeah,
the
no
Bill.
Stiddy because it just is too close to Diddy.
Well, in everything, the it's just I don't know, whatever.
By the way, the kids wanted to watch Muppets Most Wanted on Disney Plus the other day. Diddy just pops up. He's in the movie. I mean, I'm glad the kids have no clue what's going on in the real world amongst
Mm.
other items in the news. But yeah, there's no. It's just kind of like he was like Kevin Hart before Kevin Hart. There's no escape from P Diddy. He was everywhere. Now he'll be nowhere. Thank God. All right, we gotta move on. Hey, Draymond Jones, 3 years, 39.5 million to the New England Patriots. Any thoughts on him?
That's a good. I like that price. I mean, I like that price. I see. That's when you hear stuff like that. That's my first thought. Is yeah, that sounds good. There were some defenders in this draft. I wanted the Bills to go after safety Brisker, um, that linebacker Dean, Jacoby. Yeah, those are the types of players I was hoping to see. Those are the types of players I like for when you're kind of changing your defense a little bit. I don't know if they're exact fits for Leonard, what he wants, but those two guys bring everything we talk about with, I think the Bills or any team needs to get back to on defense is that toughness and enforcers. And Brisker's an enforcer. Deep,
Mhm.
small, but he's everywhere. And, tough. Makes every, like, that's what I feel like teams like the Bills are missing. The reason I'm thinking about the Bills right now is because we were talking about the receivers. And even when you were saying they may add more receivers, if they want, I get it. I don't feel like they need to. It's enough on offense. I feel like their offense is fine. You have possibly the greatest quarterback to ever play. Well, joking. But we know his talent is good enough to win a Super Bowl with a running back that leads the league in rushing, who I feel can also destroy you and can cost you games. But what my point is, you have enough on offense. You're fine.
Mhm.
You're completely fine. Get that defense back to what it used to be, a couple years ago, where it's rock solid, top 5, top 10 defense.
It's not gonna be cheap though. I mean, I like the fact that they were in on Max Crosby. Like, what would be that
They,
move that
they
may or
may
may not go down in
right.
seconds?
They may not have. I saw they restructured our boy
Eddie Pressures.
Eddie Pressures. Eddie Pressures. I didn't see what that bonus was for his pressures, but I know one thing. They know they messed up paying him.
I thought he would be a trade candidate.
Guess what? It takes two to tango.
It does. 3-4 with his skill set. Where would you use him? How would you use him in Jim Leonard's defense? Ed Oliver, that is.
Mike linebacker.
Hey, drop him back. Eddie,
He,
get it.
he actually is.
Get him down here to Rock City Fitness, my sister's gym in Great Valley. He can drop 30 pounds easy and move him to linebacker.
He doesn't need a drop. He moves around fine. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Was LeVon Kirkland style.
Oh, man, is that 90s or what? Levon Kirkland, the visor, 99, nice beer gut hanging over the belt. And he could run though, and we've had him on the pod a bunch. I mean, he could run with tight ends up the seam. Look it up. You're rolling your eyes.
No,
Von
no,
Kirkland could run.
I'm laughing because no, you're right. I'm more just laughing about the beer gut. I always felt like Reggie White had a beer gut
All
towards.
right. I got some news for you. You ready?
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker is going to the Kansas City Chiefs, per Ian Rappaport. It's a running back. We'll see what the numbers are. but he was a damn good one who played his best
I mean,
football at the end of the year when they absolutely needed it. And the Chiefs have not really had much of a running game. Look, I love Isaiah Pacheco too. Like, it looks like his life depends on it every time he runs with the ball, but then you look up and he averaged 3.3 a carry or whatever. Like, this is an upgrade over what they've had.
oh, yeah, the players out. That's big time move for the Chiefs. I think. I think they get back. It sounds like a game plan, an organization that has a plan in place moving forward with Mahomes coming back from his injury. To your point, there you're going to see it's time to take a little pressure
Yeah.
off him.
That's a really good point. You know, their receivers, when they got healthy, I think I don't think I was alone. I think a lot of us looked at this like, "Oh my gosh, they're about to just blowtorch the NFL. Are you kidding?" Like they're winning games with, not to keep picking on MVS, but I think he was out there, and Tyquan Thornton,
It was
who's a
bad.
free agent too. He actually might be a little bit of a flyer bargain for somebody, Tyquan Thornton. But, you know, now you've got Rashee Rice off a suspension and Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster. Who am I forgetting? I mean, whatever's left of Kelsey. Uh, wh who am I forgetting here, Jim? There's another receiver there.
No,
Uh,
I mean, you just went through them. I think.
oh, Hollywood Brown. That's right,
Oh,
Hollywood
I
Brown.
yeah, I don't even.
And then it was kinda blah. Like, it really they really didn't do a heck of a lot. There when I was down there with the Houston Texans talking to players and coaches, the overall sentiment was it was shortly after they just punked the Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. They're like, "Yeah, we weren't scared of their receivers at all." They allow more Jags than you would think at that position. So, this isn't a receiver that they're adding, but it's gonna help Patrick Mahomes. You've gotta have some semblance of a run game. You know, for a year or 2, maybe 3 years, you get some peak seasons out of Kenneth Walker, who I don't think he should have been Super Bowl MVP. Give it to somebody on that defense, but he was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't just you could make that argument for sure on that defense. Yeah, no, I like it for the Chiefs. Interesting how you win a Super Bowl and just like that you're on a new team. You know, well, I was thinking about Walker, like you see him on the Disney, how excited. You know, he's been there. That's the team that drafted him. Bye.
I mean, John Schneider's the best general manager in football. I tend to think he knows what he's doing here.
No,
It
I
was
business.
that's your point, yeah.
I 100% agree with you. That's the business.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl parade was hilarious, right? Like everybody's a minimum 4 or 5 beers in. I love Schneider when he took the mic and he said, "Yeah, I was just talking to Kenneth. He tried to negotiate his contract. It was really weird."
I
And
like
Walker he looks so like this is the last place he wants to be. Uh, yeah, they got Zach Charbonnet, draft somebody. The Seahawks, they're gonna keep this thing rolling. We haven't talked a lot out of that Super Bowl win. How do you think Seattle's set up for the future?
well with Darnold. I think they're going to be just fine. I like this coach quarterback combo with the GM. I think they're set up for success. I like it. I think that's a team that's going to be, we're going to talk about them again. Now, it's so hard to get back. It's so hard to win. We know that. So, what are they going to get back to the Super Bowl? Is that considered a failure if they don't get back to the Super Bowl for Seattle? Because I do like where they're headed. I mean, I like the way they do things because of their GM. They sustain success. They always seem to be relevant, and that's exactly why with Darnold being talented, they should be relevant every year. What do you think? Do you think it was a flash in the pan?
No, I love what they're building,
Yeah.
have built, will continue to build. It's I mean, John Schneider just has such an eye for talent.
Yeah.
I know some scouts on his staff, and they're some of the smartest football people that I know. Like they they think outside of the box. They encourage you to think outside of the box. It all goes back to Ron Wolf in the '90s and how that tree began. You know, in that world, really the breakthrough for this iteration of Seattle was when things got stale with him and Pete Carroll, your buddy Pete Carroll, chomping the gum, getting on the elevator before he let you get off the elevator. We'll bring it up every other show if we have to. Ridiculous. If you get on an elevator for allowing everybody that's currently on that elevator to exit, just the kind of guy Pete Carroll is. So They both reported to ownership separately, Carroll and Schneider. And I think it got to the point where, I mean, look, similar to Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott here in Buffalo, it, there were problems with that structure. Look, it might work elsewhere. Uh, I hear often that it does not work. And it got to the point where I think, oh, the owner is having conversations with Schneider about stuff going on with the coaching staff and the roster. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you. You got to talk to Pete. He's trying to protect Pete, because they worked so many years together. Eventually, they reorganize. They hire an absolute rock star and Mike McDonald and his scheme and beyond the scheme. I mean, he's such a leader. Uh, yeah, they're set up to win for a long time. Which, I mean, if you're Arizona, why even show up, right? San Francisco, L.A. Rams. L.A. Rams just got Trent McDuffie, paid up for him.
Yeah, loaded.
Like, if you're Malik Willis, I should say, why in the hell would you want to go to Arizona? I mean, money talks. If they're going to give you more money than anybody else, I suppose you take it and you don't think twice. But money aside, like, you're not going to win. Back to your point earlier, like, you you don't give a damn about winning if you're going to Arizona to play quarterback because it ain't going to happen.
No, and that's going to be that great cliche press conference too. If he does go there, we're going to see all the cliches. But I will
Well,
say, really talk about this, but I would take a chance on Malik Willis, whatever that money is, 25, 30 mil. I don't even think that's a lot of money for a quarterback anyway. I would take a shot on him than the Tuas, the Genos, the
mhm.
Reds, that the story's been written 500 times. Give me a chance. I mean, give me a shot on Malik Willis. Now I
Well,
see.
we got a little bit of a lull here, so let's talk Malik Willis. It's refreshing to hear because I want to make sure I'm not crazy. And sometimes I'm the Chris Melisante to your Tony Soprano. And you gotta reel me in. Take it easy. You tell me, take it easy. Uh, I would spend 30 to 35 million a year on Malik Willis. Look, if you need a quarterback and you look at your options and you see Kirk Cousins, Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray with his video game clauses in his contract, standing 4'11". Who the hell else we got? Carson Wentz, Geno Smith. We might have a Ty Simpson believer or two in the chat. If you are, let us know. We had one last night. I don't see it, but I'm not Bob McGinn grinding the draft film at the moment. Beyond Fernando Mendoza, doesn't does not seem to be any starting options in the draft. It's yeah, that's why his price is going to be high. That 1.5 games that we saw was electric. Like, as a runner, he gets 0 to 60 about as fast as, I mean, everybody but maybe Jane Daniels and Lamar Jackson. He's got breakaway speed, but he's also tough. He was breaking tackles. He's mobile, but he also was playing from the pocket. He made some big time throws, pushing the ball down the field in primetime games. I get it. Chicago's defense, Baltimore's defense, not exactly the 85 Bears, but it's a tough situation to get thrown into as a backup quarterback. You got the world watching you. You've been cold on the sideline all season. And he wasn't just the caretaking, place holding, hand the ball off, don't screw up quarterback that you saw the year before, getting wins, which was fine. I mean, he was taking chances, making plays. Yeah. What to you then? What is, in a dream scenario, money aside, what would be the perfect fit? I talked to Mike Tanier about it last week on the pod. We both agreed it's Pittsburgh. But the Pittsburgh Steelers and their 5 bathrooms, like, they're okay just waiting for Aaron Rodgers. I did see I think there was a report, I forget who it was. Joe
Uh,
Flacco may be their fallback though.
uh,
So if they don't get Rodgers, they're gonna go Flacco. And if it's not Flacco, Steve DeBerg is who they're gonna go with.
why? Because DeBerg's the youngest.
Mhm.
Um,
Norm
yeah,
Van
Willis
Brocklin.
Willis has a Tyrod Taylor kind of aspect to his game. Not. I think has a more arm talent, which I know that word arm talent's fun, but I think he's in that where he he's never going to beat you from the pocket all the time. He still misses things. I like him. I just feel like there are some things that he never seems to, this is going back to Liberty as well, where it's always a little off, but the big plays, like we talk about the big boy plays, the highlight plays are real. He played in some big games this year, which we love. So he got his, now we know he's not afraid of any of that. To me, like we were talking about, it's only going to get a better. Like Tyrod, when he went to think about that, when he went out to the Chargers and had that happen to him with when he got,
Stabbed in the lung by his own team doctor.
but he was on that kind of the climb where, it looked like he had more on the come as far as could he be a good starting quarterback. And that's why, to me, I'd rather take chances on that than here we go with Geno again. We're going to be the 500th team in his 30th year. We're going to get Geno right.
I mean, I I know we got Jets Cab Radio joining. Maybe he could chime in. It would be a hilarious storyline if Geno Smith was the quarterback for the Jets, right? I mean, he's on the back pages of those tabloids. He's just getting crucified. And then, we talk, and he got Ican and Polly slugging him in the jaw, his own teammate. And it ended his Jets career. I talked to him after you guys played him in 2016. And so Fitz is the starter. And Geno was like so confident. It blew my mind. Like you will see me again. This isn't the end for me. Like
Uh,
above and beyond, whether it's real confidence, false confidence. And to his credit, he did work his way back eventually.
yeah, he did.
Like he had some good times with Seattle. I mean, he was dead to rights. So it'd be a great storyline. I'm glad you pointed out the Chargers incident with Tyrod because I've talked to Anthony Lynn about this in the past. They were really confident that Tyrod Taylor was going to win some games, get them to the playoffs, that he was on the come up at that time. Justin Herbert was great as a rookie. I mean, he put up all kinds of numbers. Uh, but
It
there
was,
was
they drafted Herbert for a reason where they did. It was only going to be a matter of time.
right.
But to your point, Anthony Lynn had a plan. He was confident in how to use Tyrod and get the most out of Tyrod. To your point, what you asked, where does Willis go? That's the key. Whoever has that confidence
Mhm.
in him, that vision for Willis, then it's set up for success. Now, if they're going to try to make him hand the whole team over to him and, hey, it's your team, you got to do everything, that's when it could get ugly.
I think that Malik Willis has more passing ability and instinct than a Tyrod Taylor too.
Oh, 100%.
Right. With Tyrod, it was kind of
Or
like the receiver really had to be open for a one Mississippi, and then he threw it. It was like again a small sample size, but that's what shocked me most from Malik Willis in his little cameo last year with the quick trigger.
one of my favorite things about Tyrod Taylor that I like to tell? When you go to Virginia Tech, if you go to Blacksburg, not that you will be, but if you go to their indoor football facility, the guy that you see everywhere, it's not Michael Vick, Tyrod Taylor. He's the picture of Virginia Tech. Like, even though Vick obviously the all-time, talent, look up. I keep saying but people have jobs and have lives. But if you look up what Tyrod Taylor did at Virginia Tech, it's pretty special what he was as a college football player. And you see why, to your point, yes, I think Malik Willis has more ability. I meant more the backup quarterback that you want to see more of. And I think that's what they're on the up climb in their career. I hope he goes somebody that has that vision for him because he is fun to watch.
I mean, where would those Bills have been? Yeah, Greg Roman pushing for Matt Castle, and he can't play. EJ Manuel at that point, it
Good
had run its course.
course.
Yeah, it was an interesting summer. Nothing else really happening here. Looks like the Buccaneers are re-signing K. Otten, tight end.
Good player.
Mm-hmm. Eric Stokes, 3 years, 30 million with the Raiders. Former Packers first round pick.
Yeah, I'm lukewarm on him. Up and That's a lot of money, I think, for him.
Stone hands.
Why they play
And he drops a lot of interceptions. He might be a fine cover corner. I feel like every time
is.
I look up and see the ball, land in his vicinity and he's got a shot at it, he drops it. Now he dropped one against Chicago last year. Yeah, it's a little quieter right now. Is there a free agent that you like? Just a guy that you know is available, could be expensive, could be inexpensive, but somebody that you would want on your team?
I mentioned the two guys I would go after on defense, Brisker and Dean for sure. Definitely love those two. I would take a shot on, I know he's older. I don't know his injury history, but that Joel Battaglia, the guard from Cleveland,
Yeah, Joel Bitonio.
he can still play. Guys like him, if he's, and I don't know, I'm not into the money enough to get into all that with the money, but guys like a Batonio, you get him on your team, it's instant. It just, I've seen it with like with Richie Incognito. When you bring in an established veteran, tough guard, I can't explain it, but it just does things for that offensive line.
Yeah,
Get rid of the talent and all that, but if you have, it does a lot, and your quarterback gets this different confidence he hasn't had. So a guy like him, Brisker, I talked those two guys on defense, and Batonio, those are rock solid, tough, good signings. You're not whiffing on those signings. You're getting your money's worth.
I like that a lot. You know, you can tend to overlook really good players on really bad teams. Bitonio, even that David Njoku, there's a couple Browns that might fit in well with the contender. You know, for me, I mean, now that the market is established,
Mm.
see what Kenneth Walker got. I haven't seen the numbers on Kenneth Walker. Rico Dowdle, Tyler Algier. If
Uh,
I need a running back, I'd love one of those guys. I've always loved Algier, man. He just runs you over. It's hard to find a back who could play on all three downs. I think he can. Probably doesn't cost much. If I'm a team that needs a running back, I'm thinking Super Bowl, I'd sign him.
yeah, I think what I like, Tyler, the things you and I both have in common, we both are hitting for tough, tough, tough. When you're doing free agency, that's to me is the key. These guys,
Yeah.
get those guys, they don't change. Tough guys don't change.
All right, we have some news. Ready?
Oh,
Jalen Phillips. This is per Adam Schefter. Everything's, Schefter and Rappaport. They're just getting fed all the goods here. Which I said it earlier. I think I'm still very surprised that I did not break that Sean McDermott news. I was pretty plugged in on that situation, and then Schefter beat me to the punch. So these these guys know who to talk to. Uh, Jalen Phillips, 4 years, 120 million, 80 million in guarantees to the Carolina Panthers. Dan Morgan reels in Jalen Phillips. Lot of dough. Lot of dough. He's been injured, had the back-to-back season-ending injuries with Miami, but then he gets traded to Philly last year, does enough there to really cash in here. Your eyes are popping out of your skull, Jim. Tell me why.
I, I just don't see him as that impact player. Doesn't do it for me. And plus Carolina, that's a move and a payment to me. Like you're one piece away. That quarterback you have scares me. I'm on record. I wouldn't. He's not the guy to me, Bryce Young. So I don't think Carolina's even a lock to make the playoffs, let alone pay a guy that you think is going to be a good pass rusher. Are we sure he's that established? I mean, he's a good player. He's a good talent. I think he's a better talent than player. Like he looks the part. I don't know if he always gives you the. But yeah, that's a lot for a team. I don't. No, I'm not buying that one.
I feel like it's been a while since we saw the very, very best out of Jalen Phillips. The wild card game against Buffalo, back when Mike McDaniel was vaping on the sideline with Skylar Thompson and the gang, Phillips was like the best player on the field. He was incredible.
He's a
Uh,
talent.
that was 2022. We're in 2026. He's had a lot of injuries. I guess in my head, I thought he played or produced more than he actually did for Philly. 8 games last year, had 2 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. Uh, I mean, all right, here we got Tim Parker, our resident Panthers aficionado. He chimes in. The Panthers need to stack defensive players. They were going to overpay after the Patriots came in and got Milton Williams last year. That's a great point. I had forgotten about that. It looked like Milton Williams was headed to the Panthers. Instead, he signs that massive contract with the Patriots.
Where
The Panthers have money to spend. I get it. It's a lot. It's an overpay, but today is all about the overpay. And if you're Dan Morgan and you're hitching your wagon to Bryce Young, and who knows how long you'll get to run this team, I'm making a move versus not making a move.
that's the theme for me, Tyler, is what's the consequence for the GMs that are, like we sit there and say, or we, but in general, we analyze these moves. They pay too much. They whatever. That's too much. I wouldn't do that. They might not care. Got 2 years to get this done. Get me to the Super Bowl, or else we're looking for a new one. Dan Morgan's in the same role. If Bryce Young stinks it up this year, he's probably out. So why not? Oh, go ahead and overpay whoever.
Michael Pittman traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm,
So that was the thinking there. Alec Pierce gets the money,
he's gone.
and Pittman becomes a little more expendable because he has a higher cap number. The Steelers surprises me a little
Mm,
bit. They've got the richest defense in football. They're paying DK Metcalf all that money, which I'm sure they're thinking about right now. Jonnu Smith just got let go. You're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. I liked Pittman as a Buffalo option.
I like the
If the top guys didn't work out, he's tough.
three.
He can win along the boundary. He can make the contested catch. Leader. Yeah, I like that. We've been ripping the Steelers left and right. I kind of like that move for them.
I like Pittman.
Yeah, I think it's somebody that you want in your room too. Think
Three.
about all the wide receivers that Pittsburgh's had over the years that are just immature, to put it mildly,
Oh,
cancerous.
yeah. I mean, we just talked about DK Metcalf. That drop he had, I thought, changed that game in the playoffs for them. They were about to have. They were in complete control of that playoff game. He drops that ball.
I mean, it's almost impossible for the Pittsburgh Steelers to have a normal, talented wide receiver, isn't it? I mean, and DK Metcalf is getting into it with that fan for Detroit. And I get it that fan deserves all the scorn he's getting. He had that ridiculous press conference playing the victim and everything. If you're DK Metcalf, just show enough restraint to not walk over that direction completely away from the team and get into it with a fan. Like it's not hard to do, right? Like, turn the Twitter notifications off. Pretty easy. Just who cares?
You sound like you're practicing your father's speech to Sonny when he gets in trouble. Can't believe
Oh God.
can't believe your son did something so. Because listen, we know what's coming with our kids because we did it to our families too, and that's what you sound like though a little bit. To your point though, it just from the outside sometimes you're looking at it like DK Metcalf. It's not that hard. All you have to do is not do what you did. Just you don't have to acknowledge. You don't have to engage the fans. You don't have to do anything. And you just can't do it, right? And that's going to be the conversation you have.
Can't help it.
All you ask, Sonny, you know that you can't hear, but Dad, no. But I had to try it. I saw you try it. Okay.
I mean, we have versions of that with teasing his sister, right? That is going down. Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, for those reasons, I do like Pittman, bringing him in to that locker room. We'll see if they wise up at the quarterback
It's
position. I
funny.
doubt it.
It's Mike McCarthy. You get Pittman. You at least have, like, I know McCarthy and you. I know that's a whole thing, but I do like established. He's going to bring an established, good quality offense and organization. You will have you're going to be a good offense. And I like the Pittman McCarthy addition right now. I'm assuming Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Um, who cares? I still don't think they're going to be good enough in the AFC, but fun move for Pittsburgh. I still don't think it matters though. I don't think they're competing again. I still think it's a Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes show until somebody can tell me otherwise.
Drake May.
I told you. I think they struggle to make the playoffs possibly.
Hmm.
Not saying he's the problem. I'm just saying I think it's hard to replicate what they did this year. A lot of things went their way, lined up nicely for them.
You're right. And also to add to Pittman, Schefter notes that they will be signing him to an extension. So um, they've got money. I don't know. Use that money. Take some of that money out of. Holy cow! Here we go. Hang on.
This is fun, Todd.
Malik Willis, he's going to the Miami Dolphins.
That's great. They
He's a
cleared
Dolphin.
they cleared out that's beautiful football right there. Literally, that really sums up the NFL. You literally was it 2 years ago when they paid two of the money? Was it only 2 years ago? And here we are,
Yes, 2 years ago, but last year was like the first year of the extension.
extension. Right.
Led the league in passing.
We just got in it right. He was setting records.
Wow. All right. So it's 3 years, 67.5 million, 45 million fully guaranteed.
So
A David Mugoletta special. Malik Willis is joining Jeff Hafley, John Eric Sullivan, several other Packer coaches, by the way, in Miami. Look, Miami hasn't won a playoff game in forever. Cap hell, all this stuff. You look at that NFLPA report card, you see a lot of A's. They're doing something right structurally, internally. If I'm Malik Willis, hear me out. If I'm Malik Willis and my choices are the Jets, the Cardinals, who else are we talking here? I mean,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm laughing about the report card. Miami's going to have a good report card grades because you're in Miami. Everybody's happy anyway. I don't think this is good for Willis.
okay. Explain why as I reshare our
We
link here.
just talked about this was good timing because we just talked about where we thought, you said where would it be a good fit? A young quarterback who's already now this is going to be his third team with a brand new coach. I don't like that. I was looking for more established leader, some more established kind of group that he can come in and kind of fit in and not have to be, necessarily be what I think they're going to need him to be. I don't know if he's ready to be the guy. I mean, to take them to that level, a team that is not established. Don't see it. It's not moving the needle for me.
Jalen Waddle. Who else you got there? Devon Achane.
Good players.
Get some weapons.
No, good players for sure. Josh Allen, hey, you're third best in the division.
He'll be fun to watch. You talk about Tua Tagovailoa and his inability to move. I mean, if there's a fatal flaw for him, he is stationary. That too. You point to your head.
Your point, Tyler. I think it all led. He couldn't move at all. Willis to me Miami becomes a headache to play now. Basically every game because of Malik Willis. He's a headache. I don't think it's going to threaten the AFC East, the Patriots, or the Bills.
It's a reasonable contract, though, right? Considering, I didn't think that Miami was going to be able to play ball with what are they eating? 200 million, whatever the hell it is. They figured out a way to make it work.
Amazing.
This is where I'm putting that Syracuse education to work. I literally have to pull out my calculator to divide 67.5 by 3. So you're 22.5 per year. That is just a little bit more than what Justin Fields signed with the New York Jets. All things considered, that's really good bang for the quarterback buck for Miami. Speaking of adding numbers, like there was something I was doing like our taxes a couple days ago. I was adding the most like basic numbers. It was like 9 plus 11 plus 7 plus 6. And I had to do it on my calculator. I took a screenshot and I sent it to our family chat. I'm like, hey, put that Syracuse education to great use. Anybody else out there do the same thing? Or am I just an idiot? Probably the latter. All right, the Giants, they've signed Isaiah Likely to a 3-year deal.
That's not the biggest Giant signing at tight end.
Oh, that's right.
Chris Manhertz. A friend of the show.
Oh, we got to get him on the pod. We got to talk about NFL survival again. Chris Manhertz. You discovered him. Canisius.
Well, look, it is one of the greatest stories ever for a guy that's entering his 12th year?
Yes.
He didn't play football. He is the reason that the argument, what sport is harder to play, basketball or football? He's the reason I say basketball is clearly the hardest sport to play because There is nobody that could just go and play in the NBA that never played basketball before. I promise you. This guy never played football, and he's in there in his 12th year in the NFL.
It's amazing.
That's it. I love that story. But hey, and I like Likely too. That's a nice little. That's a good. That's nice stuff. I mean,
Is it his 12th year? I just want to make. I thought I saw 13th.
whatever it is,
It might be his. Yeah, he's been around forever. And it's one thing. You
you have
have
a
a
great.
skill. You can move other humans at the line of scrimmage
You
and
said
do
it.
a little bit as a receiver. You
Your
play
kids,
forever.
your kids will be watching.
I, you like that?
That was good because I think about Mercedes. Doesn't Mercedes Lewis still play? I think Manhurts is like the new Mercedes Lewis at tight end. He's going to be that guy forever, blocking and catching 2 catches a year for 2 touchdowns.
It's a great story.
Great story.
Yeah. Yes. Our kids and our kids' kids will all have the opportunity to watch Chris Manhertz play football. It's a beautiful thing. Great point by Bill in the chat. And again, if you're hanging out with us, thank you so much for doing so. This is awesome. We need to do this all the time. Bill Tuller, go long, OG in the house, always on our happy hours. I think Bill was even on our happy hour with Isaiah Likely. He popped on when he was coming out of Coastal Carolina. That was a lot of fun. He notes when it comes to Malik Willis, no state tax in Miami. That matters. I mean, you look back at past free agents, a lot of free agents are signing with the Miami Dolphins over the years. They think about that stuff.
Yeah, have to.
I mean, you dealt with it, right? In
Yeah.
Buffalo, it's got to be a little harder to convince somebody to live in lake effect, snow and cold in a smaller market. I always tell people we got the worst of all worlds, right? The weather and awful taxes where we are. So it cannot be easy to convince agents and players, right? Were you in that
Oh yeah.
negotiating chair?
No, you're correct. It's more because here's when I saw it. You at the end of the day, the money is going to be the money. You know, you can get around it, but you see it when you bring some of these players in. I always think about Sammy Watkins and Odell Beckham when we brought them in for the, your top 30 visits for the draft. They both just looked very, what is this place? Get me here. It's because, when we bring them in for the visits, it's not June and July in Buffalo. It's February, March.
Then the Giancarlos, though.
They didn't get the Giancarlo's treatment. Neither one of them. I actually remember
Oh, okay.
that
Where'd you
was,
bring them?
unfortunately, they were pre Giancarlo's discovery. Giancarlo's changed the game for us as far as our visits and how we treated people. They didn't agree. Not that we didn't have great meals with them, but Sammy had to go to, I won't say where he went because I don't even know if they're still open. And Odell went, we took him to a great steak at, he changed the name of it now. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. Anyway, it was the best.
Tempo?
Yes, Tempo. I couldn't think of it.
I
Tempo.
miss Tempo.
Agreed. That steak was phenomenal. Odell thought he could take it down. He ate about half of it. That ribeye.
Really?
Yeah, he
How did he order his steak?
no, he did it right. I remember sitting next to him. He was just miserable.
Medium rare?
Yeah, he got it how I think he did it correct. Yeah, because I would. Um,
Hey, I haven't even asked you about this. Darren Lee in the news. Holy shit.
that's a wow. Okay, Darren Lee. Wow. Once again, these guys don't. You just don't know what's happening with anything. When you see a story like that, his career went from starting out as actually a promising rookie year to out of the league. I mean, couldn't find a place, which tells you he had a lot going on other than football, probably all the time.
For those who don't know, he is facing a murder charge in the death of his girlfriend. And Jim, you were dining with Darren Lee amongst other Ohio State Buckeyes, correct? Ahead of that draft, it was Lee, Eli Apple, who they were picking on the whole dinner.
Yeah, good memory. It was the Ohio State crew. It was Decker,
That's right.
Jones. We drafted Jones. There was another good player. It was Lee, Von Bell, Eli Apple, Von Bell, Lee, Decker, Jones. I think it was those 5.
Taylor Decker, who just asked for his release from the Lions too. That was a shocker. And like you said it on the pod a while back, they were all just like punking Eli Apple at this dinner, right? Like I told you guys a lot what they think about him.
Told us a lot. That dinner told us a lot about every player. Decker was a grown man, ready to play in the NFL. Really didn't even want to be there. Not even sure he was friends with those guys, to be honest with you. But he was ready to play football. So that one you knew. Von Bell, same business like. Lee was scary. Cardell Jones, who we drafted, was scary with his kind of his personality. And Eli Apple was scary personality. That's what we took. That's what we take from those types of dinners. That's how I can remember that. Because I'm like, Decker, grown man, Von Bell, grown man. These other guys, hold your breath.
You can learn so much about a person over a dinner
Oh,
at that
oh,
setting.
oh. We haven't played music. I mean, they get to pick their stations. You see how they treat staff. That's a big thing for me. I just like all of it. The whole experience, you get them out of the interview room and let them be themselves. And you just talk music, you talk sports.
Man, how you treat a waiter or a waitress, it
Oh,
just tells you so much about a human being.
couldn't agree with you more.
All right, the Jets, they have reached an agreement with one Joseph Osai of what year was that? 2022 infamy when he hit Mahomes out of bounds AFC Championship game. Oof.
Good memory though.
Yeah, that was I mean, that put him right in the field goal range. I felt bad for him, honestly. You know, in those quarterbacks, Mahomes does it better than everybody,
Oh,
tiptoeing along that sideline, just like daring you, and then kind of dipping out. You don't know when you're going to dip out. I mean, for those who might remember the Texans players, they talked a lot about this in that series we had, where they're just taught just drill the quarterback every single time, make the official throw a flag every single time. Like go down swinging. You don't want
mhm.
to go full Matthias Kiwanuka on Vince Young in '06 and you're sacking and then just let up. Right. I felt bad for Osai. I mean, he clearly drilled him out of bounds. It was a flag, but given the world he has to operate in, man, maybe he's got a chance. Hey, you turn the New York Jets around, Joseph Osai. You end that drought. You turn that team into a winner. You'll be remembered for that, not the late hit on Patrick Mahomes.
It's funny to think about on defense. When you play defense, you have to be so conscious of not only like you're saying, we're taught to run through, we're going to knock them out. You make the call. I mean, you can't even land on the guys wrong. Like
Oh,
if you get a good hit, you have to be careful how it really has become so hard to play the game on defense. But that being said, I felt like the defense has made a little comeback. I think they're punching back pretty good right now.
and you know the Texans. I also feel bad for the Texans if they get competent quarterback play from C.J. Stroud and they're in that Super Bowl against Seattle and they win like 9-6. We're talking about this Texans defense in 85 Bears, 2000 Raven terms. Like instead, it's just kind of a blip, and it's hard to sustain.
Right.
Right? Look at the Saxonville Jaguars in 17. Like they lost, by the skin of their teeth
Yeah.
to New England. Stephon Gilmore's horizontal breaking up that pass. Bortles to D.D. Westbrook, I want to say, late in that game. And they got screwed, too. Miles Jack wasn't down. They they just fell apart the next year. But anyways, I just looked it up. Matt Burke, their D coordinator. We talked about quarterbacks like Mahomes kind of riding up the sideline, and their coaches here command their players to hit any quarterback conducting himself as a runner. Littering the field with virtual red tape and caution signs is idiotic with this group, akin to instructing an abstract artist to color between the lines or banning swear words from a comic. Quote, guess what? It's a run and hit game. This is Matt Burke, the D coordinator. That's what defense is about. Those quarterbacks want to toe the line. We want to get right up to the line. We want to get to the edge of clean, hard, physical football. So maybe there is some hope for Joseph Asai's of the world. And it looks like we just lost Jim. Hopefully he can find his way back into the chat. Don't know where he went. He was on his phone. We couldn't get that laptop working, but we'll figure it out. Also, if you're in the chat, chime in. Let us know what you're thinking. Tim Parker, shout out Chris Manhertz, former Carolina Panther, scored a 50-yard touchdown against the Saints on Monday Night Football. Joe Testore called him Martinez. That's right. Good memory there. Michelangelo have their Have there been players who take the money for another team due to the team they're playing for being a disciplinarian? It's a very good question. If we get Jim back, I want to ask him that. And also, we've got another deal going down. The Packer fans, if you're in the house, this is a familiar name. Kingsley Enagbare, JJ, as he's known, is going to the Jets as well. 1 year, 10 mil. It was a good year for Enagbare. He there were moments where he'd seem to just not disappear, but he wasn't making a lot of noise when they needed him after Micah Parsons went down. It's hard to find long, violent edge rushers, and there was enough there absolutely to warrant 10 million, especially for the Jets. You're going to be paying up for most of these guys to get them to play for you. Let's see if we can add Jim. Hang on, guys. All right. The Bears have signed D tackle Neville Gallimore, 2 years, 12 million. Don't know much about him. The Bears have holes. That's why, they didn't get Max Crosby. I think a lot of Bears fans were bumming out about that. Drew Dahlman, surprise retirement. Nobody saw that coming. They trade for Garrett Bradbury to kind of fill that hole quickly versus spending a ton of money for Tyler Linderbaum. They've got so many holes on defense to fill, the Chicago Bears. So I don't mind that approach. It's not going to be as splashy, but you can't expect 30, 40 turnovers every single year out of that Dennis Allen defense. He's back, Jim. I thought we lost you. Thanks so much did you get a call? I know you're doing it from your cell phone. That just hit me.
My fault, Tyler. My fault. Hey, what did I miss? What did I miss?
Oh, you don't even want to know what you missed.
Who signed?
Mahomes traded. They're done with him.
To the Buffalo Bills.
Can't get it. Terry got his guy finally. Straight up, Allen Mahomes.
And then Allen would win with the Chiefs. That's how that works. That's the old gambler's rule. If you bet on a team twice and you lost on that, if you bet against a team and you kept losing, and bet against them again, lose. If you take that team, you will lose too. That's how it always works. So as soon as you try to get Mahomes now, it's gone. You had your chance.
Yeah, I know. It's something that's got to be on his mind.
But anyway,
you live it. I know we have topics that are like banned, and we don't want to talk about Rodgers every single time, and we're not going to refer to Jarrett Stidham as Stiddy, and we're not going to talk about Keon Coleman until he actually does something on a football field. That is a topic that is worth tapping into repeatedly. The fact that the owner of the Buffalo Bills loved Mahomes before really anybody. I mean, there was a graphic that kind of went viral on the old urinal trough that is Twitter/X. Can serve a purpose from time to time. And it was like a graphic. It was Mel Kiper's like top 5 quarterbacks. Do you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Mahomes was 5th. I want to say like Deshaun Kaiser was 2nd. I think Luke Falk was 4th ahead of him.
That was the best one.
Yeah, Luke Falk. But like as early as September, October of that college football season for Mahomes at Tech, you're hearing from owner Terry Pagula about this gunslinger down there at Tech who's lighting it up, and it was love at first sight, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this chat who haven't heard it. So if you want to just supply the cliff notes as we wait for the next deal to go down, that
you summed it up pretty well. I mean, it's Terry Pagula, the owner of the Bills, was infatuated with Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech during the fall that year. He wanted us to basically give every opportunity for the Bills to draft Patrick Mahomes. If the GM wanted him, if the head coach wanted him, he would have been on the Buffalo Bills. But nobody had that conviction to basically get the most out of Mahomes. Everybody knew that there was going to be a buffer year for Mahomes because of really everything at Texas Tech. He just had to learn a lot. He was smart and he just needed to get in and learn a system, and the NFL game at the time was different. And he couldn't have gone to a better place. And I talk about that a lot. The Bills weren't in a position to really draft a quarterback that year. We didn't feel strong enough for a rookie head coach, Sean McDermott. who didn't get his wish list of offensive coordinators. He had Rick Dennison, who veteran coach, but just I don't know if he was ready to develop a
Super
young.
Bowl champ Rick Dennison. Show some respect, Jim.
Well, I do respect him. He was a fine man to work with. I learned a lot to talk with him and hear his stories. Tyler, for somebody like you who loves football and the history of football, he has that. To your point, a lot of respect for him. Just don't know if he was ready to. I don't know if the I formation and fullbacks was going to get Mahomes the best out of Mahomes at the time. Um,
David Culley.
well, hey, Culley, that was a springboard draft for Culley. He went. I think that's what got him the Houston job. Um, being a part of the Bills.
Yeah. Obviously it's all counterfactual and who knows what would have happened. I feel like Mahomes, that talent would have risen to the surface, but yeah,
oh,
not an ideal set of circumstances versus
the
what he had in
talent
Kansas
would
City.
have the talent. I think he would have been like. I feel like it would have been like that player back in the NBA that used to average 30 a game, but you never got to see him in the playoffs. You just wish you could see him more. I think
Mhm.
Mahomes would have come to Buffalo, put up stats, would have been the talk of the league, and they're not making the playoffs or they're losing first round, whatever it is. It wouldn't have been the mix wasn't good.
I think it all does come full circle. Everything's connected. When everybody's trying to figure out why does Bean stay? Why does Sean McDermott go? I mean, aside from the cold hard facts that we've repeated ad nauseum, the you know 9 years only Bill Cowher, Tom Landry, Hank Stram, and he won an AFC. I'm sorry, AFL title. Even though those are the only coaches that have won a Super Bowl with their first team year 9 or beyond, and then you've got all the
That
defensive
was a great
calamities
stat
one
you got.
after
That was a
another.
great stat.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, the defensive failures alone justifies it. But I gotta think that Terry's sitting there, and eventually he realizes that this whole show, everything I'm building here, literally building the stadium across Abbott Road. Josh Allen is the one that makes this thing go. And there are people who get that. There are people who don't get that. Brandon Bean gets that. Sean McDermott does not, or at least not until it was too late at the very end. And so I think as an owner, you own a team for a while now, and you kind of see how this league works, and you see the teams with the quarterbacks. I mean, those are the teams that win year in and year out. Like, head coaches are very replaceable in comparison to the elite quarterback play in this league. I gotta think that his mind even goes back to how this all began, where he wanted Mahomes, didn't get him. You get a hell of a consolation prize in Josh Allen. Who was the person behind Josh Allen? It was Brandon Beane. I mean, he had the conviction on him. They make the move. I think that he is remembering how that seismic whiplash of a Mahomes, Allen. Where in the hell would we be without finding the quarterback? Took a while, but anyways. All right, let me see if any more deals are going down here, Jim. Nothing really of note.
The conviction on Josh Allen is a funny statement because he basically was only comparing they were going to take a quarterback no matter what. It was either going to be if Josh Allen went first or second, it would have been Darnold or Baker, whichever the one that wasn't. They weren't going to take Rosen. I mean, I'm sorry, they possibly would have taken Rosen if they got washed on their top three and Lamar wasn't on the board, as we heard, or wasn't in play at least. So I guess what I'm saying is is it conviction or we're going to take it's either going to be Josh Allen or Josh Rosen or
That
Sam
that
Darnold or
that's the
yeah.
better way to frame it. You're right, Jim.
That's all.
Allen or Rosen,
Yeah.
which was a real debate
Which
locally
think about it.
every single day.
Now that is, we talk. Look, hey, we talk about Mel Kiper, the five Trubisky, Watson. He had that ranking for that draft. Hey, I'll own up to it. I had Trubisky right ahead of Mahomes. I had Mahomes as the second quarterback in that draft. I thought Trubisky had a chance to be good. Mahomes was just you saw it was just Brett Favre, which isn't a bad thing. It's just you knew that there had to be some. But I guess my point is we all those lists are tough. I see those. I'm like, well, we all have a little bit of a.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know Aaron Darnold was going to be the greatest one of the greatest defensive tackles ever. I was a little scared of his size. I mean, we all have. there's been great players that we didn't necessarily see. Derrick Henry. I mean, did we know he was going to dominate like that? I mean, look where he went in the draft. I mean, nobody thought he could last with this big battering ram style. So I
I
guess
mean,
my point is, it's hard I feel for when we look back on those sometimes,
oh, I mean, hell,
but
I
it's
think
fun
I
to
had
look
a
back though.
two-parter on Tua time in Miami when the getting was good in 21, and he's lighting it up with Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. It looked like this was a system
Yeah, it did.
that could last. It was 4x1 Olympic track sprinters handing the baton, the way he could just hit those receivers in stride, within the context of an offense taking the league by storm. If there's, and we'll move on to some signings here, but to me, if there's a lesson to take from Tua Tagovailoa, where you go from, and concussions aside, and that's a whole conversation itself, obviously. The injuries, the concussions, that probably affected things way more than we even imagine. But you go from cutting edge of offensive football, lighting it up, the 70-point game against Denver the second year, leading the NFL in passing, to completely falling off the face of the earth, bench the last 3 games for Quinn Ewers. What do we learn from this? I'm all for a positive head coach. It's endearing. I really like Mike McDaniel. He's optimistic. I mean, what did he do when he took the job? He had all those cut ups of Tua just lighting it up, Alabama, Miami. He wanted to just pump this positivity into Tua. I mean, Tua admitted after Brian Flores beat him down that he's staring in the mirror asking himself, "Do I suck?" And Mike McDaniel lifted him up to this point to where he is putting up all of these numbers and he is making north of 50 million a year. There's a lot of danger in that, isn't there? Like, as a coach, you've got to be willing to have hard conversations, like really hard conversations when the getting is good. And if they would have had those hard conversations with Tua before giving him that contract, everything changes. It's not, everybody's not getting fired. You pivot, you do something different there. It's a tough job. I mean, you got to have some old school tough love coaching to you still, even in 2026, which isn't easy with the modern athlete. You guys heard it from TJ Lang on the pod. It was fantastic. I mean, he sees it up close. The athlete that is going from college to pro today, I mean, they've already made millions of dollars. They've been surrounded by agents and enablers and yes men and yes women since the age of 15. They don't want to be told no. Like, it's the negativity. I mean, they'll just transfer. If they're pissed off, they'll, all right, see ya. I'm going somewhere else. Uh, that's for me. That's the lesson for Tua. And I wonder. I mean, we'll see what happens with C.J. Stroud. He was awesome as a rookie. It's been a while since we saw C.J. Stroud really lighten it up. And part of me wonders, Jim, should the Houston Texans have had those hard conversations this offseason? We talk about their defense being historic, and that doesn't last forever. Now you're paying Will Anderson Jr. He's going to be the richest defensive player in the history of the game whenever he signs that deal. You're going to have to pay for Kamari Lassiter, Aziz Al-Shire, Kalen Bullock, I should say. He'll be up for a deal. They're loaded on defense, and now you got to pay those guys. I know that Casario, and he's done a great job building this team. He called it idiotic. I forget the term he used to the trade rumors around C.J. Stroud. I think it was Todd McShay who kind of floated those out there. To me, it's not crazy to at least look at supply and demand at the quarterback position this offseason. It's a weak draft. There's never free agents out there. Tua and Kyler Murray as retreads. You It sounds crazy at first, the idea of trading C.J. Stroud, but if you're Houston, you have those hard conversations. A lot of coaches have been fired, and now you're going through some new offensive linemen. Uh, man, I don't know if I could have gotten there myself, but it's worthy of having a conversation, right? As somebody who's been in that position yourself.
100% think you should explore every opportunity you have to always sell high or sell when you deem something not good enough. So whatever they have done evaluation wise, but to your point, I would definitely want to have somebody competing with him. I like a hardcore competition, not a soft, like veteran backup or a guy that at least Stroud knows that this team will they will put him in the game. Because, that does happen too, where at some point Stroud needs to feel like if there is a chance
Mm-hmm.
that they could pull the plug on him. But yeah, his consistency has just been, it's just erratic. His decision making and accuracy are all over the place. He's similar. I mean, you could argue, you take away that half a year, really, it was like half a season he had as a rookie. Then we deemed him the greatest player ever, and Bryce Young couldn't play. When you deem those two together right now, I don't know if you could say either one's good enough. In my personal opinion, they wouldn't be my pick right now to be the quarterbacks on the NFL team. Not from what I've seen. Stroud has shown glimpses, but that inconsistency is never going to get you where you want to go. Both of them.
It is telling when you look around and you see coaches getting canned, the offensive line changing. Speaking of it, an ex-Texan, Laramie Tunsil, he reached a 2-year, $60.2 extension with the Commanders. We got a handful of deals. I'll just rapid fire. The
Yeah, let's
Patriots.
hear it.
Oh, the Patriots. They signed fullback. It's good to see a fullback light up the timeline. Reggie Gilliam. 3 years worth up to $12 million. $6 million guaranteed. Fullbacks still getting some change.
That's go ahead. That's twice though, real quick. Gabe Davis. I'm sorry, not Gabe Davis. Diggs went to the Patriots, but he digs himself out like he does. But when you see your own division taking tough guys like a Gilliam, that's all I wanted to say. When the Patriots signed Chris Hogan, when I was working with the Bills, he was like a restricted free agent. I forget how they got him, but we weren't gonna, if we lost Chris Hogan, it wasn't gonna make or break us. Keeping him or losing him didn't matter. But you see what it mattered to the Patriots, where he was a difference maker. They needed a consistent role player like him and a tough player like him in the division. That hurts.
Yeah.
Gillian he is as good as you could want at fullback.
There's an NFC exec that I was chatting with who said that Reggie Gilliam is one of, if not his favorite player in the NFL.
He catches you. He's right. There's nothing
Yeah.
you don't like about him. So
That's a great comparison to Chris Hogan. I get it, where it's like if you're the Bills,
Gilliam doesn't hurt the Bills. They're still going to score 30 points a game, but it's that. Yeah,
he had the big I think it was a third down in the 28-3 game. Was it the drive to tie at the end in Houston, the Super Bowl? I think he had the third down catch deep in their own end to get that thing going. I mean, he made so many big plays. Even the Super Bowl they lost to Philadelphia. He was fantastic.
fantastic.
For one, Clinton, he really was.
Fantastic.
Alex Anzalone, 2 years, $17 million to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also, Tampa Bay. I like this move for Tampa Bay here. Kenny Gainwell, 2 years, $14 million. Just always seems to be doing the right thing. There's always a running back like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Patriots, didn't always seem like Kevin Falk and James White. Like they're just always getting 7 yards on 3rd and 6, whether they're running it or catching a ball. Just a clutch player. Gainwell he was the team MVP, right? That they voted for with the Steelers. I know Rodgers loved him. So maybe Rodgers doesn't go there now. You let Gainwell get out the building.
No, I like him too. I agree. That's a good comparison. Guys like that they seem like they deserve a little bit, more touches, more opportunities. So it'll be good to see him get more.
So it'll be Gainwell and Bucky Irving in Tampa. And the way they
That's a nice combo.
Completely collapsed. Oh, here we go. This one really bums me out. I'm not going to lie. This move bums me out. Demario Davis, right? He's spent his whole life with the New Orleans Saints. I'm thinking, okay, this is your chance, man. Go win it. Go to a contender. Chase a ring. You deserve it. And I think Jim just froze on us. He wasn't prepared for this news, so he's gone. There he goes. He froze and then he's gone. All right, I'll tell you guys in the chat. Demario Davis, 2 years, $22 million to the Jets. to the Jets. So the Jets, they're signing guys left and right. Hey, you know what? Get your money while you can get your money. He's got a big family. Maybe you guys remember, I spent some time with him 3 years ago, 4 years ago, at his home in New Orleans. Him and his wife were cooking up dinner. We talked about his life and uh, everything that he's been through, Cleveland to New Orleans, kind of the heartbeat of that team. So he goes to the Jets. The Jets have money to spend. They're spending it. Got a few comments in here from Bill. Great point. Yeah, Mac Hollins definitely qualifies as another one of those Bills to Patriots glue players. Tough, adds to the locker room. Yeah, Gilliam, that loss does hurt, as you know. The Bills love to use him in different ways. Uh, yeah, I don't remember Josh McDaniels using a fullback either, Bill. Maybe that's the way they're going to evolve, tweak some things. All right, we'll see if Jim can find his way back into the chat. Again, thanks for joining us. Mike, good to see you. Happy for Malik Willis, he says. I wondered this season if Gary just wasn't into it. Rashawn Gary, that is, with the superior Micah Parsons becoming the new number one. Probably a good change of scenery in Dallas for Rashawn Gary. I would think so. I mean, Rashawn Gary and I was playing next to Kenny Clark. He never lived up to that contract that he got, obviously. It was strange. It was always a projection pick. You know, Bob talked about it a lot on our NFC North pod because he watches Michigan closely. He was never highly productive in college, putting up all of these numbers, but it was a typical Goody. We like the size, we like the speed, we like the explosion. We're gonna, take this ball of clay and turn it into something. And there was enough there to warrant, in theory, a big time contract. But yeah, it never worked out. His play really did go downhill. And I think, yeah, Raymond makes a great point in the chat. His play went downhill at the worst times, right? When you needed Rashawn Gary, he did not deliver late in the season. Uh, totally get it. Shocked they got a fourth round pick for him. To salvage that is big. The Packers need picks after that Micah Parsons deal. So, yeah, we'll see if a change of scenery helps him. It might. All right. Hang on here. I think Jim's trying to get back in. Just sent you the invite, Jim. Maybe you can join that way. Also, Raymond asks, any word on Romeo Dobbs? I haven't seen anything. And also, I know some people around the receiver. Mum is the word. Not a lot on Romeo Dobbs. I think what you see is what you get. Possession receiver. Fair or unfair, he'll probably be remembered for that onside kick in that Chicago game. Just recover that. You win the game. Who knows where your season goes? Maybe you get the Bears at Lambeau Field. That home field advantage was everything in that game. If you just recover an onside kick, those seem to be a bugaboo. Jim, who's joined us again for the Packers onside kicks. You could look like TJ Lang saw a ghost when we brought up that NFC Championship game. Yeah, it's tough. I like the guy. He's interesting. He's soft spoken. Maybe a change of scenery helps. I think, if you're a team that needs a receiver, would you sign Romeo Dobbs, Jim, with what he can bring? Oh, he froze again. Yeah, I don't know what the price would be. I think the Pierce numbers, I don't think they'll affect him too much. They're very different receivers. But if you're desperate for one and you want to get one before the draft and you're a team like New England, you've got money to spend. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe you would spend a little bit more. Oh, this is a great point by Bob Sturm. I know he was hanging out with us too. He has an excellent Substack, by the way. Check out Bob's stuff. Covers Dallas sports better than anybody. Does a fantastic job. Love talking Cowboys with Bob on a pod ahead of last season. He knows that Jerry Jones inner circle so well. He made a point here on X that Ian Rappaport told his own network that he can't talk right now because he had to break the Malik Willis news on Twitter first. How bizarre. You would think the employer would get the news before the social media side. That is crazy when you really think about it. Somebody is employed by NFL Network and he can't talk on air live Gotta tweet it out first. I don't know. I call me old fashioned, but I feel like you serve that employer first before those followers. He can multitask, so I'm sure he did it very, very quickly. What else are you guys into today? Let me hear like your free agent that interests you that still might be out there. There's a lot of names out there. It's not, I mean, honestly though, it's not a great free agency class, but maybe there's a finishing touch or two out there for a team. All right, let's see. Oh, the Ravens punter Jordan Stout reached an agreement with the Giants, 3 years, 12.3 million. Punters getting paid. Love to see it. Jake Bailey, another punter, 3 years, 9 million per Schefter, 5 million guaranteed. Miami Dolphins. Yeah, I think the probably so far the deal that is most surprising would be that Jalen Phillips number. 4 years, 120 million. Though they paid a lot of money for Robert Hunt on the offensive line a couple years ago. Hey, if you're going to invest, I suppose you want to do it on the line of scrimmage for Carolina. It's going to come down to Bryce Young. Can Bryce Young elevate? You know, if you're going to spin it, he played well late in games. There's something to that. Those fourth downs against the Rams come to mind. Beating Tampa Bay, winning the division. Man, it's still rare to see Bryce Young throw for 250 yards, let alone 300 yards. And you feel like your quarterback is going to have to make plays down the field consistently. And now they've got him weapons. Ted McMillan won Rookie of the Year. This is going to be a huge year for Bryce Young for a million reasons. But yeah, forget. Yeah, he didn't start that one game where Andy Dalton was in for him. So he went 8-8. Didn't have a losing record, but 8-8 as a starter. So if you're Carolina and you're trying to look at the sunny side up, you see 2-14 as a rookie, benched at one point, 4-8 in year two, benched at one point, 8-8, kept the job, won you games, can move a little. There are times where Bryce Young is able to work the pocket, maneuver around, avoid pressure. If there is that special quality, I suppose it's that, just a sixth sense for the rush to make a play on the move because he's not big. I should say he's not tall and he's not that thick. So it's hard for him to find room. Kyler Murray's tiny, but he can run around in a million different directions and zig and zag and create that way. Bryce Young can't do that. And he can't really see over the line. So it's there's got to be a slipperiness to his game that you did see at times. So it's encouraging enough, I suppose, if you're Dan Morgan, to want to see more out of Bryce Young. And they're surrounding him with weapons via the draft, free agency, an offensive line, the run game. They re-signed Chuba Hubbard. They picked up Rico Dowdle, who's a free agent now. And defensively, they were really good. So I'm thinking back to what they did at Green Bay, did to a lot of teams. The defense has improved. So maybe they see a formula there and that Jalen Phillips is somewhat of a missing piece for them. All right. Any more deals here that have creeped onto the timeline? Looks like nothing quite yet. Malik Willis in Miami is going to be fun. They've got dead money, more dead money than we've ever seen to reset this thing. I loved everything I heard from Jeff Hafley. And he is there's some coaches who shine at the podium and then they can't coach a lick. So we'll see, right? How Jeff Hafley is when he's the one running the show, making the big decisions during the course of a year, and you got to make them fast week to week to week. There's I guess I disagree with Jim a little bit where I feel like offensively there's enough to get excited about. I mean, you still have Waddle, Achan, some speed, and Malik Willis. He presents problems with his legs. He proved he can push the ball down the field. I kind of like where this is going, and say 2027, 2028, when maybe they're able to do some more with that roster. You hear some really good things about John Eric Sullivan, what he was able to do with Green Bay, learning from the people he learned from, Ted Thompson, and then you go back to Ron Wolf. These GMs tend to have a big picture plan. They've got one. Malik Willis is a part of it. I'm excited to see where this goes for Willis, and I'm glad that he chose, for his sake, Miami over Arizona, where you have perhaps the worst ownership in sports. We don't talk about it enough, but I've heard some terrible things out of Arizona. So to avoid that entirely and go to a place where no, they haven't won a playoff game in forever, but it's going to be run the right way. Good for him. Good for Malik Willis. Raymond says he thinks that Malik is going to have success in Miami. I'm with you. What success this season? 7 wins, 8 wins. You would take that if you're Malik Willis and the Miami Dolphins. And then look, it's a smart contract for both sides, really, because it's not as expensive as maybe myself and a lot of people anticipated, thinking a team out there would go 30, 35 a year. Same time, look, if he plays well and what you saw in 1.5 games, you now see over 17, you're giving him a raise and you're feeling good about that raise and you're able to give that raise if you're Miami at that point. So it really is smart for all parties involved. If you're the Dolphins, it will be interesting. All right, you know what? We'll sign off there. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us here for almost 2 hours. It was fun to see those deals go down. We'll be sure to write about them, talk about them, provide all the analysis that we can at golongtd.com. Really appreciate you subscribing, reading, sharing with a friend. Let's do this again soon. This Substack Live is a lot of fun. So I want to get these going through the off season. Great to have you all here. Appreciate it.